What gets measured gets better. In life, what gets measured gets better. And you need something to bounce off of that consistently. The training never stops for successful people. What gets measured gets better. In life.
Let me stop sharing my screen for a second here. Boom. All right. Divine Rising, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, because I do welcome everybody in this call. Good morning, Delia. How are you? Good
What
morning,
gets measured gets better. In life.
Good morning. Wait, what's good? Okay. Oh, I don't know why. Anyway. Welcome to the morning. Well, still going over this cold. Welcome to episode number 23 of the Morning Manifestation Routine. I am your host, Jesse Arias, co-author of a book called Heart Set, Your Key to a Limitless Mindset. I feel galaxy of joy. My purpose is to help light that spark inside of you and to unleash your potential by asking deep down self-awareness questions. Oh, there you go. For the first 3 minutes of the morning manifestation routine, what we're gonna go ahead and just do 3 minutes of the breathing. You can just breathe in, breathe out at your own pace. If you wish at this time as well, say a prayer to whoever higher being you believe in. You could also say affirmations to yourself while we're breathing in and we're breathing out for those 3 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put timing. You guys, oh no. Wait a second, you guys can't see my screen, that's why. There you go.
Mira qué lindo, Larry.
What is that, fire?
Sí.
Bonfire. Wow.
¿Qué cosa? ¿Cómo se llama?
Wow, welcome back. Welcome back. That was 3 minutes of, of breathing in and breathing out. Next portion of the morning manifestation routine, we're going to go ahead and pick our phone, if you're in your computer or if somebody's nearby, and just give them a thank you. Thank you for working on this project with me. Thank you for helping me do a chore. On your social media, you can say, hey, sending positive vibe your way. Just about a minute. We're just going to go ahead and take that minute and then express our gratitude to that individual or individuals with an S. We're just going to play the song for about a minute. All right. It's been in my about a minute. So our next portion, just drink a little water. There you go. So for our next portion of morning manifestation routine, we're gonna go ahead and visualize, like I mentioned prior. This week, we're gonna visualize what we're gonna do for the rest of the day. So today, we're gonna visualize how your day is gonna play out with enhancing it with our five sense, which is the sight, the sound, the smell, the taste, and the touch. Remember that when you visualize, make sure that to see what are you wearing for the today. What outfit are you gonna wear? Where are you gonna talk to? If you have errands to do, let's go ahead and picture our errands that everything's gonna run smoothly, no hiccups attached, and just small little detail. Where are you gonna eat? I know today later on I have to do an errand, and after that I have calls going on, so I'm gonna visualize my calls are all amazing. With that being said, well, that being said, we're gonna go ahead for a minute, just visualize, and again, using our five senses, amazing souls, which is the sight, the sound, the smell, the taste, and the touch. Oh, let me just put my alarm here for a second. And starting now. Close your eyes, open your eyes. right, welcome back from the visualization journey that we had going on. Welcome back. For the next portion of the morning manifestation routine, we're going to go ahead and do 5 minutes of gratitude list. And when we write our gratitude list, just make sure to pick up a journal just for gratitude list. Separate it from your journal of your emotions. Don't have too many with your notes because it's too much. Just have a separate journal for your gratitude and also a blue pen. That way, when we write on blue pen, our mind can be clarity. And and when we write our gratitude, let's make sure to write why we are grateful for the things that we are grateful for. Not just I'm so happy and grateful. Okay, but why are you grateful for the things that you're grateful for? One example that I love to use is with all my heart, thank you for blah, 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 because blah, blah, blah. So I thank all the things that I'm grateful for. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead here. Good morning, good morning. Yes, good morning. Okay. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Forgot to mention as well, today's date is March the 3rd, so it's 3/3/2022. Make sure underneath it or next to it, write down how are you feeling. It could be a sentence, it could be one word, or it could just be a drawing, whichever you want, a little picture happy drawing. So that way, 30 days from now, we're looking back through our gratitude list and we'll see how our energy and our vibration was that day that we wrote our gratitude list. I'm gonna go ahead and do the 5 minutes. amazing soul from the gratitude list. Welcome back for the next portion of the morning manifestation routine. We're going to go ahead and place our hand in our heart and say thank you 3 times to ourselves, because we say thank you and we do a lot of stuff for everybody. We're going to go ahead and take the time to say thank you for us. So as we do that, place your hand, if you wish to have it physically in your heart inside, like feel your heartbeat. We're going to 10x it. Feel your heartbeat. So we're going to do that. Oh, there you go. We're going to do that. So we're going to breathe in. So we're going to breathe out. Thank you. Second one, we're going to breathe in. Breathe out. Thank you. And the third one, go ahead and breathe in. And breathe out. Thank you. Yes, thank you. We got to thank ourselves. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a hug. If you wish to squeeze yourself, why not? Squeezing yourself is the best thing out there. And like the late Bob Proctor that I learned from him is to kiss yourself. You know what? I started implementing kissing myself. Honestly, never done it. And now I'm loving it. Loving it because I got to love who? Myself. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. With that being said, for today's self-awareness question, got it right here. No. I'm going to go ahead and put the whiteboard. And I also like to write it on blue, even though it's a whiteboard, but I'm still going to write it on blue. It is, did I fully enjoy whatever I was doing last month? Was I really, quote unquote, here, quote unquote, present in the moment? Or was I just showing up? Very good question. Self-awareness question is, did I fully enjoy whatever I was doing last month? Or was I really here, present in the moment? Or was I just showing up? And it goes back to showing up for you. And how can I be more present? Obviously, besides noticing your surroundings and all that good stuff, I had to ask myself this question when I was like, I had to really deep down. And I was looking back of last month and I was asking myself, what was the purpose of me being there? Seriously, what was the purpose of me being where I was doing last month? And why was I even there? Did it serve the purpose? Was I just being there just to be there? I reflect on a lot of stuff lately. And last month was a lot of reflection. And a couple of days ago as well. Were you really paying attention to your spouse, to your pet, to your partner, to the speaker if you were in an event? Were you really there, or was just listening to just listen, not paying attention? And also made me think, like, how long, and I am going to ask you a question as well, how long was I in scenarios, location that I was just there and I wasn't feeling anything, but I was just living to live with no intentions whatsoever to be there. Why was I there? What were you there? Um, and like I mentioned prior, and I'm going to say it goes back to showing up for who? Showing up for yourself. If you don't feel comfortable in the scenario, just I've learned that you don't got to give explanation. You just, all right, gotta go. Bye. That's it. Make you. So when you go to that place, it's like, why am I here? You know, why am I here? I gotta enjoy my life. And a quote that I saw, and I was like, oh, this is perfect, is I'm gonna realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now, make the now the primary focus of your life. By Pickering. Oops. Realizing deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. And that resonated with me with the self-awareness question, because as of lately, I am showing up for me. But in the past, obviously the past is the past, but we do reflect on it. I wasn't focusing on me. I wasn't focusing on my life. I wasn't making the now a priority. I was just thinking, okay, we'll do it tomorrow, a week from now. Like, I've learned that there's no such thing as, well, because let me rephrase that. Life is unexpected, and we don't know if we're here today and then tomorrow we're gone, or within half an hour, something might happen to us. We don't know. And and me showing up for places, or you showing up for places, just say that in the back of your mind. You know, like, what's the purpose of me being here? How does this benefit me? Those two things, if you answer, you know, if it doesn't benefit you or it doesn't serve any purpose, then why are you there? Why are you there? Just make your family happy because you just show up? Okay, well, it's not helping me, and it's making me miserable helping you. Like, excuse me. And also an affirmation that I was like, I have to give an affirmation when it comes to this. I saw 3 affirmations and I loved it, and I have to share it. And I put it in my affirmation as well, is I take care. I'm gonna write it down here as well. I take care of the future by taking care of the present moment. And the other affirmation is, excuse me, I am in the present. I am in the perfect place at the perfect time. The last one that I want to share is, oh, you can't see it. Yeah. I am here right now. So those 3 affirmations, it resonated with me as well. It resonated with me as well because I love that. I take care of the future by taking care of what right now, the present moment. Whatever I'm doing right now, I know it's gonna enhance my future. It's definitely gonna 10x in my future. I've seen my blessings, and also I'm seeing your blessing as well. The other one that I loved was I'm in the perfect place at the perfect time. Because we always say like, oh, you're at the wrong timing. What is it? Wrong place, wrong time. And we hear that often. Wrong, oh, I was just in the wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time. I've heard that. So actually, I've heard that a lot in my life. Well, you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And when I heard this, I'm in the perfect place at the perfect time, it just kind of switched my light bulb. I was like, oh man, yes, why don't we start saying that? Why are we always saying the negative stuff? Oh, there's another, yeah, yesterday was the past, tomorrow's the future, and today is the present. That's why it is called a gift. That's funny that I saw that in one of the cartoon that yes, yesterday was the past, tomorrow's the future. Definitely, yes, it's a gift. And I've learned that. Guys, throughout my journey, and I'm sharing my journey with you, being transparent. I'm learning that today is a gift. Why not, excuse my language, effing celebrate it? Why the F not? I started pumping, I started putting songs that I love that I haven't heard in a while. And I was like, wait, I stopped listening to the songs. Why? Why am I stopped listening to it? It makes me want to jump around type of thing. It makes me want to start dancing. And I did cardio today and I felt fantastic. When I was doing the cardio, I woke up and first thing I said was like, oh my God, what time is it? I got to do cardio. And I was living in the present. I was living in the now. I'm like, gotta do cardio, gotta work on myself and everybody else as well, work on yourself. But overall, I just want to say that just two questions that I mentioned earlier. Whatever you're doing, and I'm saying this to myself as of lately, what's the purpose of me being there? What's the benefit of me being there? What is the purpose? So with that being said, oh, there you go. I celebrated Earth, happy world, happy everything. So with that being said, I'm gonna introduce to you to my mentor, my amazing soul sister that she's been pushing me. And also I allow it to push myself. She's in the John Maxwell team. She's you have it. She has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and she's always there. And she's one thing that she's always showing me is that, you know what? And to everybody out there is show up for who? Show up for yourself. Or three people, you, me, myself, and I. There you go, if you want to have a multiple personality going on. But anyways, with that being said, boom, introduce you to Claudia Pimentel. Take it. Oh, let me stop sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. There you go.
Thank you, Jessie. Good morning, everyone. What a glorious morning we are here. My name is Claudia Pimentel, and I am here to hopefully help you step into your divine purpose, right? You want to step into your divine purpose and show up for you. So today we're going to continue on with the book that I had chosen previously. It's called The Complex to PTSD. It actually is written by Pete Walker, and it is From Surviving to Thriving. During my journey, what I have realized is that we tend to, in our subconscious mind, we have things that have happened to you and us in our childhood. It's childhood trauma. And that basically stays in your subconscious mind, even as an adult, if you don't acknowledge and deal with it. So when you're having triggers, oh my goodness, guys, my phone. Hold on one second. I put a new setting on my phone. So everything that I'm saying is actually typing out. Goodness. All right, back to what I was saying. You know, you go kind of through life and you have the excuse that, oh, this triggered me. I hear that a lot as an adult now. And I just see that it's a little bit funny because it's actually your excuse. It's your excuse for not, no, it's your excuse. Oh, that triggered me. Well, what is your trigger? That's your excuse for your behavior. Are you okay with your behavior? Are you reacting and not responding? Because it's about responding, correct? And not having so many emotional flashbacks. Like once you hit a plateau and once you hit that level where you're actually going to walk through that door and realize that everything that happened in the past is gone. So why are you continuing to hold on to it? Because everyone else around you has moved on, right? But yet someone blinks a certain way and, oh, you have a flashback, or, oh, oh, that triggered me. People use that term so freely nowadays to give themselves an excuse, a way out for their behavior, for the way they're reacting rather than responding. And that just goes back to feelings, right? So we're going to continue on with the book. I have the PDF form here so we can read it, and also the audio form. We also have a Telegram group chat that, Jesse, go ahead and drop the chat link. If you are not in the chat, in the Telegram chat, go ahead and get in. That way you will have access to the book. You'll have access to all of the information that we're going through, and also some of the coaching techniques that I am providing to the group. So let's go ahead and share this. That is one of the best things. Being part of the John Maxwell leadership team, you know, I have the capability. Also, guys, if you need to schedule an appointment, let me know. And hey, like Jesse's here, and she's one of my top leaders in the crypto trading community with IM Academy. So we're all just full of a lot of information here. We have real estate going on. We have IM, multiple streams of income. And guys, this is the time and opportunity that not only are you working on yourself, because that's number one, is being important to you and yourself. Work on yourself and also continue to move forward with yourself, right? Step into your divine purpose and share with others. Okay, because we all have crowns and we're all beautiful queens. We all shine very brightly, right? Very bright. There's enough room and shine for everyone. It's all about collaboration and not competition. You have to learn to be good with yourself first before you're even able to communicate or collaborate with someone else. Because what happens is, if you're not, then you're going to go into the competition mode, and you can actually start being a narcissist. Okay, you'll see yourself saying comments like, oh, I need this because of this person, or this person is not as much as big as I am. But in reality, it was never a competition to begin with. So we need to be very careful in which way we start growing. Okay, so let's continue on with the book, and then we'll hold any questions to the end, and we'll have our discussion.
Parented children. I also do not think that joy is typically as dominant an emotional theme in adult life, unless it is synthetically induced with drugs or alcohol. On the other hand, experiences of joy for survivors can gradually become more frequent as a person's recovery efforts promote increasing feelings of safety in the world. As our emotional intelligence increases, I see considerable evidence that our expectations of joy become more reasonable. This allows us to let go of permanent happiness as the unrealistic goal of recovery. Until this happens, we remain at the mercy of the critic's contemptuous diatribes that we are not being joyful enough. One of my clients recently became mindful enough to see he was shaming himself for not being as jubilant as those in the beer commercials. As a concluding comment to this overview, it is important to emphasize that, like most things in life, there are degrees of CPTSD. The continuum of CPTSD ranges from mild neurosis to psychosis, and from highly functioning to non-functioning. Its severity ranges from having extended periods without flashbacks to being in full flashback horror much of the time. This range also varies from a condition of increased experiences of thriving to a condition of barely surviving disability. Progress in recovery is seen then in flashbacks becoming more manageable and life satisfaction becoming continuously more frequent. A friend of mine once joked with me, "I've got so much recovery, I'm beyond normal. I'm super normal. I make the normies look like they're the ones with CPTSD." As we end the overview, we are ready to move to the next chapter, which explains how varying childhood trauma histories can cause CPTSD. Here we will also understand how verbal and emotional abuse alone can cause CPTSD, and how profound emotional abandonment is typically at the core of most CPTSD. Part 2. The Fine Points of Recovering. Chapter 5. What if I was never hit? Physical and sexual abuse are the most obvious traumas that a child can experience, especially when they are ongoing. However, much that is also traumatic goes unnoticed in CPTSD enduring families. This often occurs because parental acts of physical abuse are more blatant than acts of verbal and emotional abuse and neglect. It appears to me that just as many children acquire CPTSD from emotionally traumatizing families as from physically traumatizing ones. Denial about the traumatic effects of childhood abandonment can seriously hamper your ability to recover. In childhood, ongoing emotional neglect typically creates overwhelming feelings of fear, shame, and emptiness. As an adult survivor, you may continuously flash back into the abandonment melange. Recovering depends on realizing that fear, shame, and depression are the lingering effects of a loveless childhood. Without such understanding, your crucial unmet needs for comforting human connection can strand you in a great deal of unnecessary suffering. Denial and minimization. Confronting denial is no small task. Children so need to believe that their parents love and care for them that they will deny and minimize away evidence of the most egregious neglect and abuse. Deminimization is a crucial aspect of confronting denial. It is the process by which a person deconstructs the defense of making light of his childhood trauma. The lifelong process of deminimizing the impact of childhood trauma is like peeling a very slippery and caustic onion. The outer layer for some is the stark physical evidence of abuse. For example, sexual abuse or excessive corporal punishment. Subsequent layers involve verbal, spiritual, and emotional abuse. Core layers have to do with verbal, spiritual, and emotional neglect. In a perversely ironic way, my parents' physical abuse of me was a blessing, for it was so blatant that my attempts to suppress, rationalize, make light of, and laugh it off lost their power in adolescence, and I was able to see my father for the bully that he was. Seeing my idealized mother's abusiveness came much later. Identifying my father's behavior as abusive eventually helped me become aware of less blatant aspects of my parents' oppression, and I subsequently discovered the verbal and emotional abuse layer of the onion of my childhood abandonment. Verbal and emotional abuse. The fact that verbal and emotional abuse can be traumatic is lost on many childhood trauma victims, though it is rarely lost on recovering victims of cult brainwashing who also are prone to developing CPTSD. Many survivors of verbal and emotional abuse never learn to validate its soul-damaging effects. They never accurately assign current time suffering to it. Attempts to acknowledge it are typically blindsided with thoughts that it was nothing compared to kids who were repeatedly beaten, who had it so much worse. As a child, I minimized my father's frequent face slapping by comparing it to my friend's father who used to punch him. Much later, however, I finally realized that for me and many of my clients, verbal and emotional abuse damaged us much more than our physical abuse. Ongoing assault with critical words systematically destroys our self-esteem and replaces it with a toxic inner critic that incessantly judges us as defective. Even worse, words that are emotionally poisoned with contempt infuse the child with fear and toxic shame. Fear and shame condition him to refrain from asking for attention, from expressing himself in ways that draw attention. Before long, he learns to refrain from seeking any kind of help or connection at all. Theoretical neurobiology of the critic. Unrelenting criticism, especially when it is ground in with parental rage and scorn, is so injurious that it changes the structure of the child's brain. Repeated messages of disdain are internalized and adopted by the child, who eventually repeats them over and over to himself. Incessant repetitions result in the construction of thick neural pathways of self-hate and self-disgust. Over time, a self-hate response attaches to more and more of the child's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Eventually, any inclination toward authentic or vulnerable self-expression activates internal neural networks of self-loathing. The child is forced to exist in a crippling state of self-attack, which eventually becomes the equivalent of full-fledged self-abandonment. The ability to support himself or take his own side in any way is decimated. With ongoing parental reinforcement, these neural pathways expand into a large, complex network that becomes an inner critic that dominates mental activity. The inner critic's negative perspective creates many programs of self-rejecting perfectionism. At the same time, it obsesses about danger and catastrophizes incessantly. Chapters 9 and 10 expand on shrinking and deconstructing these life-ruining programs. Until this is accomplished, the survivor typically lives in varying degrees of emotional flashback much of the time. The verbal and emotional layer of the abuse onion has many sublayers of minimization. I've heard clients jokingly repeat numerous versions of this over and over. I know I'm hard on myself, but I don't constantly kick my own ass. I'll be more of a loser than I already am. In fact, I really need you to come down on me if I try to get away with anything. A childhood rife with verbal and emotional abuse forces the child to so thoroughly identify with the critic that it is as if the critic is his whole identity. Disidentification from the critic is the fight of a lifetime. To liberate your identity from the toxic critic, you will have to repetitively confront it for a long time. You will have greater success if you are prepared to forgive yourself for repeatedly collapsing back into the old habit of self-blame. Progress is always a gradual back and forth process. Ironically, a pernicious type of self-hate can constellate around the self-judgment that one is especially defective because she cannot simply banish the critic. This is the typical toxic all-or-none thinking of the critic. Sadly, many survivors give up on fighting the critic before recognizing the myriad subtle ways it tortures them. Yet, there is no more noble recovery battle than that which gradually frees the psyche from critic dominance. Until this happens to a significant degree, there is minimal development of the healthy, user-friendly ego. Let us examine now at how emotional neglect alone can create a psyche-dominating critic. Emotional neglect. The core wound in complex PTSD. Minimization about the damage caused by extensive emotional neglect is at the core of the CPTSD denial onion. Our journey of recovering takes a quantum leap when we really feel and understand how devastating it was to be emotionally abandoned. An absence of parental loving interest and engagement, especially in the first few years, creates an overwhelming emptiness. Life feels harrowingly frightening to the infant or toddler who is left for long periods without comfort and care. Children are helpless and powerless for a long time, and when they sense that no one has their back, they feel scared, miserable, and disheartened. Much of the constant anxiety that adult survivors live in is this still aching fear that comes from having been so frighteningly abandoned. Many survivors never discover and work through the wounds that correlate with this level. This happens because they overassign their suffering to overt abuse and never get to the core issue of their emotional abandonment. As stated before, this is especially likely to occur with survivors who dismissively compare their trauma to those who were abused more noticeably and more dramatically. I find this painfully ironic because some people suffer significant active abuse without developing CPTSD. Typically, they are spared because there is one caretaker who does not emotionally neglect them. Traumatic emotional neglect occurs when a child does not have a single caretaker to whom she can turn in times of need or danger. CPTSD then sets in to the degree that there is no alternative adult, relative, older sibling, neighbor, or teacher to turn to for comfort and protection. This is especially true when the abandonment occurs 24/7, 365 days a year for the first few years. Growing up emotionally neglected is like nearly dying of thirst outside the fenced-off fountain of a parent's warmth and interest. Emotional neglect makes children feel worthless, unlovable, and excruciatingly empty. It leaves them with a hunger that gnaws deeply at the center of their being. They starve for human warmth and comfort. The failure to thrive syndrome.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there so we can continue for tomorrow. So a little recap here. The core emotional neglect, core wound and complex PTSD. So I guess we're really speaking about our childhood trauma once again, right? Having neglect as a child, maybe not being, your voice not being heard, maybe being different. So these are things that we really have to take a look at, and we want to make sure that now as an adult, it's okay. Those things happened, but now as an adult, and that you're realizing those things happened, now you're able to decide, okay, do I continue or do I move forward, right? And that's what we're doing here by reading this book together, is getting the tools so that way we're able to put those in our daily lives, and this will help us continue growing and thriving in this beautiful society, because life is beautiful. Okay, God is waiting for you to step right into your divine purpose and walk through that door and claim what's rightfully yours. All right. And we understand that things happened. Okay. But what we have to say it as is things happen for you, not to you. Okay. So we have to really take a deep inner look and see what it is that we're doing now, right? Don't react, respond, okay? And understand that these emotional flashbacks that you have in these so-called triggers are just unresolved feelings that you have from something that happened to you when you were a child. So once you realize what it is that happened, then you can pinpoint that. And then lo and behold, those triggers and those flashbacks begin to subside, because you actually understand what's happening and why you're feeling a certain way, and you can respond to that. You can control that. Okay, so let's not give our actions excuses, right? Let's make sure. Let me see. Type a 1 in the chat if you are not about excuses. You are an action person. Type a 1 in the chat. Let me see. How many people are here are action people? I know at least the ones on the call, you guys are action people because you're here. You made it, right?
Woo-hoo.
And you're showing up for yourself. And that's the number one key. Okay. Absolutely. It's the number one key. And no one in this world will love you more than God. And that means yourself. Okay. You have to love yourself, embrace yourself, because you're a very special person in this world. And you're here for a purpose. And we need to start discovering what our purpose is here. It's not, oh, I'm here to trade. Oh, I'm here to be on a leadership team. It goes beyond all that, you know? It goes way beyond that. It's not, oh, I have a networking event, or, oh, I have a TV show. But what is the purpose of that? Is it to create unity? Remember, authenticity, people will always see through that. If you're not being authentic with what you're saying and how you're presenting yourself and your mission statement or what you're doing here. So just keep that in mind. All right. And I hope everyone has a beautiful day. And we're going to, you know what? No, I know that every one of us will have a glorious day, magnificent day. And I will see you guys tomorrow at the same time. If anyone would like to share, Jesse, what is your takeaway from this part of the chapter in the book?
What is it? The emotional neglect and the deminimization. That was a big word. I was like, okay. I like I'm gonna reread over that portion again. Negative.
It's not a big word. It's just an unlearned word. That's all.
Yes. Yeah, just taking care of myself, and like you mentioned. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing. And that's very important. Like if you don't take care of yourself, who are you expecting to take care of you? You know, we shouldn't look for others' acceptance. Oh, they didn't say I look good today. They didn't show up to my call today. Blah, 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 blah. They didn't look at my IG. They didn't like my IG. There was no comment. They didn't call me today. They were not on my Zoom call. Oh my goodness, the world is ending. They don't like me. Da, da, da. You see how that can start spiraling down when in reality is, who cares? It doesn't matter. None of that matters. None of it. You know, it's whatever you perceive yourself as, your worth is what you project, and that's how you will be treated. And that's just the reality of this lifetime. If you project yourself as a slob, guess what? People are going to treat you like a slob because that's what you're projecting. If you project yourself as a diva, people are going to be like, oh, she's a diva. It's whatever you decide, you know, and self-care and self-love is so important. And we are at a point in our lifetime, in our journeys, that there is no room for those excuses of the past. Because once you acknowledge it, then that means now you're making an educated decision to hold on to it, to hold on to that excuse, not to move forward with your life and show up for yourself. So that is all I have to say for today. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining. So nice to see you.
Sorry, guys, I'm at work.
So nice. No, that's great. What was one of your takeaways from that chapter in the book? Anything resonate with you?
No, not really, because I'm trying, the phone's been ringing off the hook and
I think she's
I can't really concentrate.
at work.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so busy here. I don't have time to
That
really
works.
just focus
So
on
anyways,
listening.
no worries.
I'm so sorry if that's just honest.
Absolutely. No, no, we understand. We understand. The world happens, right, guys? The world happens. So, anyways, with that being said, I want to say bless everyone here on this call, and I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you at
Bye,
the
guys.
top because the bottom is just too crowded.
So
Have a great day.